with yours truly, Adewale Boke Jr. and Kimba Bush Ramsey, creators of art, as I like to see us. Today we're gonna focus on something called the creation of art. Really, why we're here today. We want to talk about what it takes.
I lost you for a minute, but I
Yeah.
suspect
It
you're
froze
back.
a little bit. Yeah, it froze a little bit. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, so Kimba, I introduced the show. Today we're gonna talk about the art of creation. I'm Adewale, that's Kimba right there. We kind of joined forces, man, to decide that we need to start talking about how individuals, artists, independent artists are trying to get themselves on without the jipping of bigger, bigger institutions. I don't even want to call them institutions, man. I call them carnivores, man. They're just vampires leeching off of you as a creator. And so that's what they really are. I'm being polite without being polite. So, Kimba, man, go ahead, brother. Bring yourself to the show. Introduce yourself, man. Let them know who you be, man.
It's your boy Kimba, aka the Colonel. Yeah, man. I'm out here. I'm in the field, man. Wanting to striving to make it happen. All things positive, man. Bringing newness and freshness to the table, and encouraging people just to operate in their gifting to the fullest extent, man, and leave what we were meant to in this earth and inspire people. I got to start off by saying I'm really proud of Adewale. I've known his brother for a good few years, and to see him in his new level of expression of who he is, he's wearing what he's created. He's representing his gifting. It's behind him. It's in front of him. It's all around him. And I'm just inspired to be on this journey with him of encouraging people via these digital networks and in physical spaces as well to just, pursue purpose and fulfill potential. You know what I mean? Pursue purpose and fulfill potential.
Overnight sensation. You know what I'm saying? 15-year overnight sensation. We do this every day. We pursue it every day, whether it's failure, successes. I tell people all the time, success is really overrated. Try not to be trapped in your own success because it's not a good space, man. It's a lie that's lying to you. I don't know if that makes any sense because it allows you to get comfortable, and once you get comfortable, it's all she wrote. So as long as you stay uncomfortable, that's really what's going to be your driving apparatus, your force, your vehicle, whatever you want to call it, man. You know what I mean? So, that's what we have, man. So let's get to this, man, brother. The thing I want to talk about today was the art of creation, and the things that I want to focus on are these are it's business central, but it's not creation itself. That's number one. Self-publishing versus external publishing, which will break that down. Copywriting, trademark, and ownership. So, bro, creation, man, because you have a book you have right now. It's out on his website. I am KingKimba.com. Let me show that to y'all. And he's got the album out, Class Crown, what y'all are hearing in the background right now. So that book right there is available. Creation, man. Go ahead. What you think? Creation. What does that mean to you, and where does that go for you?
Um, is the the conception of an original idea. I think creation is the conception of an original idea. Um, Now, it's interesting because we can have ideas, we can conceive an idea, we can have a thought and not act on it, right? Or we can have a thought and then share it with someone. And I think both of those you have to, what's really important about the life of a creative, well, we're all creative, but what's really important about the life of an entrepreneurial creative is that we acknowledge the value of our ideas, right? Because everything we see was an idea that somebody at some point found value in, and maybe other people had a similar idea, you know. But the ideas we see manifested in front of us are a result of the person who had the idea saying, you know what, this needs to be manifested into something that people can actually access and use. So yeah, for me, the art of creation is the acknowledgement of an original, the conception and acknowledgement of an original idea. Um, and that's I think that's the basis of business, even if it's just a service, right? Because sometimes when we think creativity, we think of an actual product, but sometimes it could be a service. The product could be a service, like something like software. You know what I'm saying? Like you got all these different software companies that are basically service oriented products. You know, so yeah, that's my thoughts. What
I think creation is an idea of uh, sometimes it can be just filling a hole, and sometimes it can be a necessity. Anything that we have, clothes that we're wearing right now, the hat that we're both wearing right now, the t-shirts that we're wearing right now, the watch that you're wearing, even our tattoos, they are creation. What is its purpose though? I think that's when I started finding I guess finding it, calling it progress, because I don't want to use the word success. So when I started finding progress, because when I was in school, my biggest mistake is when I went to college, I went to school to go study graphic design because I was like, so I can get a job. That's a small mind mentality. It should have been, I should have pursued animation so I can create a universe and not worry about the money that I was gonna make. You know, it's good to I think, like I always say this to people, practice is just failure is just practice for success. Or maybe I'll start changing that word success at the end to progress, because success, as I stated again, is a trap. So I'm going to start saying the word failure is just practice for progress. Creation, I've realized that, take my characters, Cardiac Assassins, for example. When I created all this, version 1, version 2, and version 3, from these three versions, between the three versions, in the middle was version 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, and 4. This is fifth version of my characters right here. First version of my characters. I had to learn how to appreciate them. When I created them, there was an excitement of, man, I've got my own universe. But it's how do I use this universe to get me where I want to go? And the one thing I did immediately from jump, I took away money. Money was not going to be the end game. I wasn't caring about none of that. I just wanted to wake up to the morning and be pursuing these guys every single day. There's no day that I get up where I'm not excited. I never have enough time to do what I got to do for these characters. Like yesterday, I didn't go to sleep till maybe 3 in the morning because I was designing some sneakers, collector's edition, based on my characters, and it took a good minute to design it because the way I designed it was one foot of the shoe is got the classic, the version 1 of the characters, then the other one has got version 5. So the way I design it is always something like that, and so that's what I mean. Like even the shirt I got right now, this is one of the original. This is actually one of the original shirts I made when I switched over to the dip when I started using technology. Creation is a growth avenue. It allows you to just keep evolving. It allows evolution. So it's just like you as an artist. I don't want to call you a rapper because then that limits you. As a music creator, you go from this style to this style to this flow to this flow to this kind of lyric to this kind of beat. That to me is creation. I think what's happened to any form of creation, whether it's animation that we're in, or music, or movies, or whatever, it's become very vanilla. And what I mean by that is that it's the same old, and there's such a fear to create something brand new, which is corny. So go ahead, brother, brand new. You know what I'm saying? So that's my term on creation.
on the same wavelength, man, in terms of it's the liberty to be original, right? And what you said is very important and it's profound too, because um as human beings, we as living beings and human beings in particular, we have a keen awareness of or a instinct of survival, right? And part of that survival is food, clothing, and shelter. And so a lot of times we look at things through the lens of how is this going to help me attain food, clothing, and shelter, right?
Um, food. That's what I haven't heard anybody say that. Everything we seem to be doing is more about food, shelter, and not purpose and how this can be have an impact. One of the things that's made me have I don't want to call it obsession, but the desire to return back home to Africa is the amount of impact that I can have. I don't want to stay in America and take Cardiac Assassins and it gets bigger here and all I've done is more YouTube subscribers. But if I go home, now that's brothers and sisters that look like me that actually want to do something like I'm doing. Like, wait, if he's doing it, I can do it. Now they'll stay there and grow Africa. They'll stay there and make the animation series about where they from, their neighborhood, whether they're from Oshodi, Bariga, Abeokuta, and these are places I'm naming in Nigeria right now. That's really what's inspiring me, man. It's giving me new fuel. My trip to Nigeria and coming back since I've come back, there's not a day I don't think about Nigeria. There's not a day I don't think about me going back, staying there permanently, me figuring out like when I get there, where can I build Sanusi vision? You know what I'm saying? Where can I put my house? Which I'm already, which is something that I would like to have one day there. I just don't have the desire or the itch to stay in America anymore. It doesn't move me anymore. You know what I mean? So that's where I feel like the creation is.
And again, man, I think it's profound that when you can, I think it's profound the transformational effect it has on us when we get beyond the lens of food, clothing, and shelter. You know, it goes back to this idea that I mentioned at the beginning, pursuing purpose. Um, yeah, pursuing purpose and being fulfilled in that. And so there's a different level of fulfillment we get uh from purpose other than food, clothing, and shelter because um at some point you can get tired of food and you can have all the best clothes and that, but if you feel like the life that you live doesn't contribute to humanity, in some way we start to look at those physical needs being met in a smaller, in a less significant way, because we realize, what, um we were built as human beings to give and contribute to others. You know what I mean? And so what you saying there too, about that, you use that word impact. It's a different lens, man. The purpose lens and the impact lens is a different lens. And true say, when you're talking about the art of creativity or creating, there's a book that came out a couple of years ago by this guy called Simon Sinek. It's called Know Your Why, or it's called Why. And we actually, as creative beings, human beings, we have um, we are fed in different ways, right? And there's a purpose, there's a food called purpose, and when we receive that and distribute that, it fulfills us in a way, fulfills us in a way, and affirms our creativity in a way that no amount of food, clothing, and shelter will. So, that connection that you have to the homeland and the measure of impact that you will have by being based there far exceeds this idea of, what how much can I earn from it, because that, wait a minute, beyond finances, this opens a different mind frame to people who have lacked the access that they should have. You know what I mean? So it's a big deal.
On to the next question, but I think people, and this is just me being straight up honest. I think people hide too much behind what they don't have, and that's why they end up creating nothing. Well, what if I fail? Well, I had to tell you this. What if you succeed? You know, they listen to too many people. Like people. Life is singular, and you have a choice to make. You can live. You can just exist, or you can live. You got a choice to make. Like it's like I told my job. I said to them, I'm not interested in. I have a business, and I told my store manager, there's nothing you can do for me that I can get a job anywhere else. So, because we had an incident at work, a customer was acting like a jerk. And I'm not for disrespect. I checked, I told the customer, I'm not helping you, get out my face. Then I went to the corner, he was blabbing his mouth. I was like, you're not going to do anything because all you're going to do is talk junk. But what I expected from my management team was to kick the customer out. But they generally have a habit of not solving a problem. They'd rather it's all about making money. And I went after the customer left, I went to manager and said, y'all some busters. That will never happen again. Next time I'm not waiting for y'all to kick the customer. I'm gonna do it myself. That customer go get dealt with. That customer wasn't gonna do nothing to me. All they was gonna run their mouth. But they're so used to them talking to employees any kind of crazy way that they didn't do nothing. I said, me, if that happens again, it's gonna be somebody's. You know what? You know what I mean? It's just you have to, and even though that's a tangent, but what I'm basically coming at is you have people that have a fear of creation, this need to just live in a box. And I don't know whether the person's married or you're single, your fear box is still gonna be the same. You're never gonna, if you had that box before you got married, you're gonna have it while you're married. And now you're not gonna have the courage to tell your spouse, hey man, this is something I was pursuing before I met you. Like I will have no problem letting any woman I end up with, you are never gonna block this dream of mine. If you get in the way, I'm gonna let you go. That means you are jealous of what I'm going for. And I've been in those kind of relationships. So I got rid of an ex like that because I saw her, look, your problem is you don't have no goals, so you don't want nobody else to have any goals either. So you're a waste of space. So, that's what creation is to me. This you should not be afraid of what this can do for you, the life that creation can provide for you, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? So which brings us to an important part. Self-publishing versus external publishing. I'm gonna say that again, y'all. Self-publishing versus external publishing. Go ahead, Kim, but let you take this joint. Right,
Is that, and I was explaining that because um, I've gone with a publisher, an external publisher, then they put it in other platforms where you can get it for less. But
right.
when it comes through me, it's a bit more because it comes directly from me. And we talked about, whether or not it would have been more beneficial for me to do it self-publishing. Now, the reason I
Mm,
didn't this time is because I have a relationship with the publishers whereby they also provide opportunities for me to tour schools, and which
right.
generates,
The
different.
double
Yeah,
impact.
yeah, exactly. So it's income streams in different ways. So it's
Yeah,
via school visits, and then also via online sales or in-person sales as well. And on top of that, because of the relationship I have with the publishers, it's a
right,
50-50 joint venture. Now, that is that is advantageous for me because
right.
it because of the multiple levels of the multiple income streams. And then
Right.
also not all external publishers will give those types of percentages with creatives.
Yeah. Oh no.
Generally it's a
No way.
much smaller percentage, you know what I mean?
No, they will.
But
No, no, no.
two things. So
They will not do it.
two things this relationship does for me. It establishes a network that I will need going
Right.
into the future with everything
Future.
else that I release. It's kind of that initial introduction to the literary world, and the fact that they have so many links, which I generally appreciate in this country and abroad. But going forward into the future, self-publishing is definitely what I'm looking at, because even though this one is published through a publisher, I still own the content. So it's just really, the network that they own. And we agreed to do 50-50 in terms of the cost of production. But in terms of all the content is still mine. They don't own the content. It's just that books sold through them. So at some
So they think is just recouping whatever they used to for production, and then you in turn are getting your brand out there, which is very important for you. I think that's very important. But see, that funny thing that you're doing. I'm bringing people into our chat, so I'm sending links out to everybody and their godmother. So I'm multitasking.
Yeah,
So for
love
me,
it.
like what he's doing, external publishing. I did. As for me, what I'm doing is self publishing. And I think the reason why I did it, especially with my first comic book coming out, is I didn't want to have to like answer to anybody. And it's not even about money. It's just with my characters, I don't want to have to check in with everybody. And I've heard horror stories of different type of stories where you and the publishing company, y'all have things, and then you didn't read the blueprint, and never know. Well, they have a chapter in there that says that you can't allocate your characters to anywhere without getting a green light from them or whatever. And that kind of stuff was gonna sit with me, and that would begin to sit like music. Music is a most toxic, just a cutthroat, total, just a mess, man. And I call it a payday loan place, but I was avoiding that, and I figured since I have the money to pay for the books, I have a connection where people can print me my books. They've been printing me my books since 2012, actually since 2015 when I actually started create. When I created these bio books, these same guys that are creating my comic books now are the ones who printed these. So there's already a built relationship there with the owners of the organization. Plus, I trust them. And then another thing that matters to me is I trust them with my files, because with my stuff, it's about files. We're talking about my characters. These characters are going to be worth billions and billions of dollars, billions and billions of whatever currency of money that I use. You know what I mean? But I wanted the big picture was ownership, controlling what's going on. You become a full when I have self-publishing, I can control a lot of things, man. Even with my music, I don't plan on. I got my own record label. I don't need you. Don't make me the beats. I don't need you to write my lyrics. I can do all that myself. So I just need. I don't. You don't even need record labels anymore. I not shoot my own music videos. And if I don't want to do it, I'll pay this dude right here to do it. So I don't care. So either way, I can get what I want. You know what I mean? So I don't. You have to. And I think one of the things I'm noticing more and more that I'm doing now, I'm putting people that I'm building bridges between me and other people that I'm knowing, so that if I need to go shoot a video, I just cross over this way to Kimba. If I need to go make print copies of my comics, I'll go this way to Edwin. If I need to go make beats, I'll come to myself. But if I need to fix my car, I'll call my uncle. Or if I need to figure out where's the best place to make a sneaker, I know where to go. My clothing line, all that stuff. Everything I'm doing is bridges. I'm no longer don't. You know what's that word that people use? Networking. That's a sleazy word. You know what I'm saying? That word is too sleazy for me. I don't like that word because it just means that you're only going to communicate with me when you need me. You know what I'm saying? So self-publishing has many advantages. The disadvantage is that everything comes out of my pocket. I front load everything. But the advantage is that the returns come back to me 100% too. So everything with this universe that I'm doing, the way I see it is this. All my money is in front. It's like an investment. You've put money in the stock market. This is my stock market. The billions and billions or whatever's going to come from it is going to be coming down the pipe. All I got to do is just keep going to the junctions, wait for me. So I don't have that fear of I need to go back. Even like shows like Comic Con, you know, these comic expos. I don't go. I don't. I'm probably one of the few people that doesn't want to go to Comic Con because there's nothing they're doing there that I can't do on my own. What am I going to do between the 6 months? The year comes around again. That whole 9 months, that whole, excuse me, 11 months. What am I waiting for to sell? I'm not going to wait for them. If I already figured out a way to make my money without them, what do I need them for? You know what I'm saying? So going to art shows, publishing yourself, being self I want to call it self pushed because that's like more of a hustle term.
Motiv- Self-sufficient and self-motivated. Yeah.
I want to call it a safer platform, but it's a platform that I'm safer with. And with me now, everything that I do now is more what am I safer with? What do I feel comfortable doing? Because I'm not racing. I'm not in a rush to be famous. I don't care about fame. I care about purpose. And that every day I wake up to these characters, I'm doing something great. So that's what I think, man. I don't know what you think about self-publishing because you have some things that you self-publish yourself too as well.
I've done a book of haiku poetry as well, which is more for this. That's like erotic poetry, right? For a man and a female. I've done that. I haven't really pushed that out there like that, but I've done that. Um, and then I'm working on new stuff as well. I mean, I'm working on a new book as well, which will probably be a joint venture as well. But I'll probably I'll be more in control of how it's how it's seen and how people come across it and the marketing and the promotion for that. But then also the music, like um, similar to yourself, you know, the independent route is what I've chosen to pursue and I'm very comfortable with because, as you said, it gives you control of every aspect. In the time that we living in, some people find that intimidating and find that overwhelming to take on the responsibility of being an independent artist. But I think because we've had experience with what it looks like to try and the type of person or artist you have to try and become for these entities to show that they really have an interest in you, it's basically really selling your soul, basically, for them to for you to be noticed by other people. And those days are we once you reach a certain place in life, you're not really looking for validation from other people. You found value, and it's like, you know what? I know what I have is valuable.
Somebody's in there. Hopefully you're there. Say hi, whatever. But appreciate y'all. Welcome to
Welcome to South.
another episode with Adewale and Kimba. We're talking about creators of art, just what it takes to be creative, man. We're gonna be here every week, man. We're doing our thing. We're not here to popularize what we're doing. It's about just what can we give to the world, and vice versa, the energy that we put out. So yeah, man, keep going, brother. Sorry I have to cut you off. Let appreciate the person who's in the chat. You know,
That you reach a point where, as a creative, where you're like, you know what, I'm not seeking validation from anyone else anymore. I know that there's a fire lit inside of me to create and contribute to the world. And so that's what I'm going to do. And that, being an independent artist in this day and age, is really an amazing thing, and it's very advantageous. It's like, yo, I have an idea. I can I can manifest this idea and turn it into a physical. Yeah.
in there, man, looking for one. This is my homeboy Kimba, man. He's a great rapper, man. You got to go get his album, Kimba. It's excuse me, Juan. It's in the chat. It's called Class Crown. Juan loves listening to music that actually makes your mind elevated. So Juan, trust me, check out his album on Apple iTunes. He's dropped it, Class Crown. I bought the first copy, so I'm proud of that.
Bro,
Yeah,
thank
yeah,
you.
you gotta go listen to that, Juan. You gotta go listen to it. Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely a. I think what you're saying, man, the self sufficiency, and especially in this era, man, you have to have something of your own. I'm not trying to be any record label's product. I'm not doing that. It brings me no satisfaction at all. Even at my job, me and Juan were just talking about this yesterday. Hey, what's up, M Jones? How you doing? Welcome to the chat, man. Definitely join us. Thanks for joining us. Um, Welcome to the chat. We're talking about the creation of art, what it takes to be a creator, a creator versus an artist. And I put that in the chat, y'all. So all of y'all click on that poll, because there is a difference. I think there's a difference between being a creator and an artist. Artists can just recopy what a creator has done. But when you're a creator, you are the origination of something, and you are the origination of progress. You make the needle go forward. A creator, like a bunch of people can draw Batman, but that's cheesy. Now, a bunch of people can't do this. I created a whole entire universe, and I've made people to love it. And this thing that I've created has funded everything I have. I didn't go get a loan. I didn't go get anything. It all came out of my pocket. It all self-paid itself, if that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? So, M Jones, how you doing? But yeah, it's you make a great point there, man. Self-sufficiency. Now, this comes to another point, the next point, copywriting, which most people don't know nothing about.
Do that, right? Because when you copywriting your stuff, it's basically documenting the legal rights that you have as the originator of that idea. And then copyright also too, when we're talking about publishing, copyright ensures that the value that is found in your work is always going to be associated with you. So regardless of how long you live, copyright a lot of times outlives the owners. You know what I mean? Yeah, it outlives, man. Like, these like songs I've got right now, that one of the things I'm most proud of is that there are a few songs that I've written. Um or no, I have a catalog of songs that I know, once they're all published, are out in the world, that my children, it will be a legacy for my children. I'm really kind of, when I look back at my life and I'm thinking, okay, what was the value of certain things that I've done? If I could have known that from early on, Adewale, if I would have known in high school that, bro, listen, I would have locked myself in a studio somewhere, and I would have done a Tupac. I would have done a Tupac, you know.
Chunks, man, he he dropped 10 albums all before he was 25. Nobody's ever gonna do that again, ever. and and that's a different type of it's a different type of work ethic. It's a different type of understanding. I mean, copywriting for those who don't know. So this version, right? Let's say you see this worst version, I copyrighted, right? Let's say if I never even copyrighted these two, I would still have protection of these two because this original version is allowed to have multiple versions. So people don't understand that. Even in your music, in your especially in the arts, if you're a creator, a book, a comic, music, copyright your stuff, man. Anything you're doing, copyright it so that you can have ownership of what you're doing, so that you're not looking like a sucker. Because when if you for some reason have to go to court, you can put these up. Yo, these are my copyrights. And there's many ways to copyright. Let me educate you all real fast. You can do poor man's copyright, or you can do the regular copyright, which is going through your federal government, depending on whatever country you live in. Now, I don't know how they do it in Europe, but I'm pretty sure it might be similar. But here in America, you can self copyright with this United States Postal Service. So what you do is it's something called registered mail. You put the address to yourself. The to and the from is your address, right? And then when you get there, you're gonna put these seals on it. You know what? Let me grab it so I can show y'all.
Yeah, yeah, that's an amazing thing to learn because sometimes we have the opportunity to do things that we don't really realize that we do have an opportunity. So the fact that you can actually self copyright is a good thing because sometimes or most times we think about that we think that it comes with a fee and all of that. So
See how they got the registered mail right here? This is one example. It depends on how they doing it. Now let me get you another one. This one, perfect example. This one is the perfect example. So this one right here, y'all see how they got those bunch of dots right there, the stamps? Y'all see those stamps right there? So when you do it like that, that's basically mean it's sealed. So if you, whenever something should go down and you have to go to litigation, you don't never open this. You let the court open it. You don't touch it at all. All you do is keep it in a nice box in a safe wherever you got your important stuff and do it like that. And I stress this to a lot of people because that's one of the reasons why I had to move alone. Copywriting. When I moved to California and I started going to community college, I met a bunch of different artists. We tried to form a team, but I realized while I was trying to talk to them, they don't have no concept of business, and they're very not driven. I said, I'm not wasting my time with these people. I'm gonna go at this alone. I think I'm better off doing this alone because these guys don't want to put the money in. They don't want to get a job. I literally got a job, yes, to take care of myself, but also to give my dream of fuel. You see what I'm saying? So I had to cut them off. And then I just said, forget this, I'm going on my own. And I'm glad I did because all this stuff I own it. I can't tell you how many of these I have. And I say, I got so many, it's not even funny. I mean, I just copyright. Every time I change a version, do it like that quick, fast. And then every year, I send a package of art to the federal government, which means it gets put in the Library of Congress. My comic book that's coming out soon, that's copyrighted. That's in the Library of Congress. These three books are in the Library of Congress. You know what I'm saying? So it's protection, man. Copyright, copyright, copyright. Even if you don't have the money, you have the money. You can spend. I spent. So if you go with the copyright with the government, it's $178. If you do poor man's copyright, it's like $15, $17. But you should do the first one. But I stress the importance of doing the second one too, the one with the federal government. I can't stress that enough. I mean, Kimber, how does he roll in England? Because I'm pretty sure y'all do it differently over there.
you can email it to yourself and self-addressed stamped and the same way, man, you hold on to it and you preserve it, and if anything happens, so you could do it that way or you can send it off and get it copywritten as well. Same thing. Same thing.
No, you guys still have the is it the Royal Mail or is it British Mail? I can't remember. Royal Mail. Yeah, that's what they call it in England, y'all. For all y'all don't know nothing about no England. Royal Mail. So the next part, even though it's starting to sound more businessy, but it's not, is the trademark part. Trademarking is very important, man. Trademark. Go ahead, Kimber. What you think of that trademark? If you understand it, or you want me to?
A little bit different because trademarking is um I think I'm gonna let you speak on this a little bit more as well. Is that trademarking is generally graphically related. It can be graphically related or product related, specific to the product. Because I think that that comes up in terms of having names and ideas that could be similar to other things, but it's distinguishably different. And then that has to be registered with a copyright, or excuse me, a trademark, to let you know that there is a difference between this company or another company, or there's something distinctive about the company that I restarted. So I've not done as much with trademarking.
Then Asha and Batas, because Asha is my clothing line, and then Batas is my footwear line. Well, my footwear line, the logo covers every type of footwear you can make: slippers, sneakers, dress shoes, women's shoes, kids shoes, swimming shoes, you name it, it covers it all. Then the clothing line, yeah, bro, it's so, oh my god, it was a workout. And then you got the Asha clothing line, covers t-shirts, tank tops, women's gear, kids gear, paternity clothing. So if I ever got into making clothes for pregnant women, it'd be covered there too. So everything I did was more futuristic thinking. Like I didn't base it to where I was. I based it to where I could go. You know what I'm saying? And so the first time you copyright trademark in America, your trademark lasts for 5 years. Then after that, the next time is 10 years. So now next year I got it coming up again. So when next year comes, I've only allocated funds to me paying for it. So once it gets here, I drop my money on it. Now it extends for another 10 years. And by the time that 10 years comes again, yo, I'll drop money, be dropped for another 10 years again. You know what I'm saying? But it's a valuable entity. And this is another thing people should know too, because I forgot to say this in copyright. You take the name IamKimba.com, right? Now I don't know who you bought yours through, but I bought mine through you can get it through different companies, GoDaddy, Wix, or whomever. What you want to do as a creator is give those domain names a value. That's why you stream, you post it on TikTok, YouTube, wherever it is at, because the more people flock to your website, the more value that domain name has. Like I have about 15 domain names, and let me tell you, boy, they are worth a grip. Like I could buy a house with it, like that. Yeah. So I started learning a while back, like SanusiVision.com, iShaw, Batas. Those things are worth a pretty penny. I could get some money for them joints. Just them three alone. You know what I'm saying? But I'm never gonna sell them because I realized that my brand continues to elevate, and the money. And this is something I think I should have brought up a while back. And this is something me and my boy are talking about now, because I Am Kimba is a growing name. So every time, let's say you have on general every single day, 100 people visiting IamKimba.com every single day, every single month. So if this month, if that website domain name was worth $50, if we give it another month again, $100, another month again, yeah, it's growing. So you want people flooding. So people focus too much on the money they're getting from their sales. I focus on the value of my name. You see what I'm saying? And so that's why I have no fear of being me. Um, that's why our trademark works. It works in two ways, and when you renew it, you have to renew it for first time is 5 years. And while you're doing the process of trademark, y'all, it's a mess. You got to create what they call samples. So samples is what you're going to be doing: clothes, posters, hats, beanies, hoodies. Because I know my boy likes to do his hoodies and t-shirts and the hats. So he's gonna have to, when he sends a trademark in, send a sample of each one. And they're gonna make you send the perfect one because they might not like the picture you sent. So you gotta send it again and again and again and again and again. So it's a proper workout. Its trademark is very it doesn't mean that your stuff isn't protected if you don't trademark. What it does do for a trademark is means that, let's say for example, Kimba's got um, raw fabric. Now that name is trademarked. Now nobody else can use it. Nobody else can say raw fabric clothes. No, raw fabrics, whatever. If what you're doing is similar to what Kimba's doing, you can't do it. The name raw fabric is his. So now Kimba has to decide how many classes does he want to put raw fabric in. They're gonna do clothes. Are they gonna do footwear? Are they gonna do movies? Are they gonna do comics, all that stuff. So you have to decide how many classes you want to put them in. And yes, all these things cost money. That's why you have all these artists that work in wherever they at. They never want to spend the money. They want to kind of want to become subsidiaries of somebody else. But there's a consequence to that. You have somebody else owning your stuff because he or she shelled out money. Yo, I shelled out 100 bands, 100 racks to get your name protected and all that. Guess what? I got to recoup what I spent. Meanwhile, when you signed that documentation, you didn't put in there, just because you spending money don't mean you own my stuff. If you spend money to copyright my stuff, that just means I owe you 100,000. That doesn't mean you own my creation. There's a distinct difference in those two things, and I think a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't understand that, and so I'm grateful for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful that I had the courage to say, we ain't gonna do that. I'm grateful that I had the courage, and you're gonna laugh when I say this one. I'm grateful that I had the courage to be humble in my failure. You know what I'm saying? And boy, when I failed with the music stuff, it wasn't my talent, it's the way I went about it. I put my dreams in the hands of people that were full of, you know what? Both of us can attest to that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what's brought this brotherhood that me and him have. Right now, y'all, in the background of our stream, whose music are you hearing? That's his. I had this thing on repeat. We probably heard his album like 10 times in a row already. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like this is something that Cat Williams said. God's equity in me is that I have a platform, and my equity back to the world is that I can grow somebody else. There can be no greater achievement than that right there. So to watch this brother, let me tell y'all what this brother did when he dropped his album. And this before he put it out. He sent me a text, hey, yo, Junior, man, what you think it is? I said, I heard it. What did I listen to in 5 minutes? The whole album? He's like, you heard it already? I said, yeah, man, what you think I'm going to be waiting? And I was at work, man. And I said, bro, when this thing dropping? The next week, he sent me the link. And I was still the only dude that had the link. I bought the album. So I was the first person to buy it. But what I'm basically saying is that this man had enough trust in me, enough respect to me, and respect of me that he knew that I would bring words of encouragement. See this word, they call this word criticizing. I call that word self-destructing somebody. There's no such thing as criticization because you can't do what I can do. So what gives you the right to be criticizing what I'm doing? It's like I said in my songs, everybody wants to be a critic. It's like, I don't care what you think. You know, it's hard to explain that to people that you can't do what I can do. And when I tell you that I don't care what you think, I generally don't care what you think. Like, I can't tell how many times people are giving me the business when I'm streaming. I'm really not worried about any of that. You can say what you got to say about me. Ain't none of that moving me. I know why I'm here, what my purpose is. So as long as I know what those two things are, you can do that. That's why even the word trademark, right? So if you look at trademark, right? Imagine let's take this case from my Bose headphones. All right, this is Kimba's creation. Trademark is what's wrapping its hand around it right there. That means nobody else can get through it. If you want to get through it, you will have to pay Kimba a certain form. That's why in music, for example, let's say if somebody wants to use Kimba's class crown. Let's say if they want to use Rich Young Ruler, right? Maybe in the background of whatever. Yolanda Adams, hey, how you doing, man? Welcome to the chat. Thanks for joining us, man.
Well, yeah, appreciate
Joe, I
you.
appreciate you. Yeah, those are you're saying right there. Let me tell you what she said. People don't understand what criticism is anymore and how to critique anything. They just judge things on their own personal beliefs, and many times it's just prejudiced. Very well said. Very well said. I couldn't have said it any better. That's what I was talking about, Kimba. People don't like right now. I've been telling people since he dropped the album. The album dropped in March, I believe. I think it was March or April, right? We've been funneling this thing. He's got a video right now on his YouTube channel, Rich Young Ruler. It has over, I think it's reached 600 views. This is the last I checked it. So I'm really proud of the fact that he's done that. I've put it on my YouTube channel. I put it on my TikTok page. Anywhere I can put it, I put it, man. You know what I mean? But what we're basically saying is trademark is the creation of ownership of what you own. So we as creators, any creator, I don't care if you do clothes, sew hats, make food, chin, whatever. Copyright what you are doing. Trademark what you are doing. Yes, I know it's expensive, but you have to think of what you're protecting in the future. If nothing else, please copyright what you do, because that gives you protection. Trademark just means somebody else can't use the name. Now, if he or she should decide to get in and mess with your stuff, then you got business for them in court. You know what I'm saying? You know, fisticuffs on the streets ain't finna do nothing for you. Go ahead and take it to the court and get your litigation on and get your bread there. It's like I always say, hey, pay me now or pay me later, but you're gonna be paying me for touching my stuff. You know what I'm saying? don't touch my baby and we ain't got no problems. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you know, yeah, so that's trademark. Now, this is the part that comes out to the last part, the ownership part. Brother, what you think about ownership, man?
So I think in terms of the empowerment of those of the African diaspora in the areas of creativity and the financial benefits that come from creativity, a lot of generations have lost out because those creatives that were in families who could have really benefited from the the value of what they created haven't because they didn't own it, you know, and all of the things you've talked about, the legal measures taken in terms of copyright, in terms of trademarking, ensures that the value, the exchange rate of what you create is going to go where it's supposed to for the duration of the thing that you've created, for the duration of the impact that it has. And ownership is it, man. Like you have to, whatever you create, you want to own. And it's interesting, you and I talk a lot about music because we both are artists as well. And this thing I've been hearing coming up a lot from guys that we grew up listening to, but didn't own what they created at the time. Like a lot of musicians and stuff. I think even Kurt Franklin, like there's gospel artists that have gone through this as well, who've been put through the shenanigans with record labels. But a lot of them are saying that. Um, the copyright through these companies only lasts, I think it's 25 years or something. So a lot of these, yeah, so a lot of these artists, you know, so basically these entities, these business entities will try to get as much as out of, will try to exploit the products that they get from artists, the rights for 20, as much as they can get out of it for 25 years. But a lot of this stuff, after 25 years, the ownership reverts back to the person that created it. So, you know, there are quite a few. I've heard Mace talk about this from Bad Boy. I've heard Kurt Franklin talk about it. I've heard there's quite a few people I've heard talking about it. De La Soul, um, different people saying that, you know what, now they're starting to get their rights back from uh
1995, it was cooking. We're in 2025. Who's gonna remember that? Whatever the name of the album is, Jury Duty, whatever you want to call it, right? All the money was made in 1995. So now the artists, the masters returns to them, but the record labels already drained you dry, and that's a systematic problem. That same system we're talking about exists in movies, exists in comics, exists in animation. What makes me great, and I've started giving myself props for this, is that I've chosen to be independent. I have my own company. I know the guy that created X-Men, that produced it. Fantastic Four, the anime series, Captain Planet. He doesn't own any of that. Brother, I saw this man, and that's understandable because he didn't create it. But somehow he should have got better paid for it. Right? I see him at the comic expos, you know, the Comic Con expos that I go to. He was selling his poster for $10 a pop. I'm selling mine for $50 a pop. Ain't he the one who's supposed to be with the name? What that tells me is that he doesn't understand business. So a lot of these artists, and I know plenty of them, they act like they doing something. You work for Marvel, or they put you on Comic Con. You ain't doing anything. If something goes wrong, they want to discard you, they can discard you. They can't discard me. That's what Cat Williams is talking about all the time. You can't discard me because I am that entity. I am the foundation. I am the umbrella. I am the rain. You know what I'm saying? So music has always been a cutthroat, dishonorable, every word you can think of that's full of degradation and disrespect. That's what music is about. That's why you have cats like take Amy Winehouse, the great singer. She died about 5 years ago, I think, maybe, or 6 years ago. When I think about her life, it's really sad because instead of this record label helping her with her vice, they made it even worse. They threw more of it in her face. Same thing with Whitney Houston. Same thing with Michael Jackson. It's just a Kate Spade, the clothes designer. This woman took her own life, and the clothing brand just kept on going like nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty. I was telling. Who was I having this conversation with? I think I was talking to my dad. And I was saying that, like my grandfather's house back home in Africa, I was telling my dad, we need to renovate it, yada yada, all this stuff like that. And I remember going to somebody and saying, this is an embarrassment that my my grandfather's house looks like this. This man had a #1 cement company in Nigeria in 1981. Number one. And here it is. You guys have only taken the money, but not maintained what he's created. That's an embarrassment. So, it's only my older years that I realized how special my grandfather was. Like, this man was the truth in 2/4. So it gives me the confidence to say, yeah, my goal in life is to surpass him, to be the #1 dude. I get past him, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just, I don't measure myself against anybody else because I have enough people in my family legacy that I want to get by. And when I pass them, I don't did it. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, Sanusi's #1. Ain't nobody getting past him. He the name, he the bloodline. Ain't nobody getting past him no matter what you do. You know what I'm saying? But my grandfather, who's right behind him, yeah, I can get grandpa. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure my grandfather would love that. His baby get past him. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But ownership is man, it's everything. It's your house, it's your car, it's your hat, it's your air, it's your oxygen. You must own what you create. I don't wake up in the morning and say, hey, yo, let me check with somebody to see if I can put my Astro logo. Let me check somewhere where I can put my cactus. Kimber doesn't do that. He doesn't wake up in the morning. Let me see if I can go to a studio and go somewhere. No, he got his own studio. He doesn't ask nobody, can they make a beat? He got his own beat machine. He wake up, if he want to go to sleep at 5 in the morning, that's exactly what he's going to do, making a beat. And then get up for his job, go about his business. But he doesn't have to check in with anybody anymore because we've both done that journey. And that journey does nothing for us. Like what you just said, she said, it's corporate capitalism manipulating any type of creative art form for their own growth, even at the countdown of all creators. It happens in every industry, even in engineering. Oh yeah. Are you kidding me? GMC, Ford, Chrysler. They do their people dirty. I had jobs. I'm sure y'all are familiar with this video game, Call of Duty. The company wanted to hire me as an artist. And believe me not, that bread would have been very nice every year. A very awesome 6-figure salary. But there was a trade-off. What they were after was my characters. They thought they were slick. My uncle said, look, they're after your characters. They see what you have. They want to be able to turn this into what they can make money off. So I told them, tell you what, I'll work for y'all, but y'all have to sign a concession for me. Everything I've created and that I'm creating that I've already created is my own. Whatever I create for y'all can keep it. I don't really care. Then they came back with, well, I got to check with my boss. I said, don't bother checking. I don't need to work for y'all. Your money is not your money. Your money is a temptation, nothing more. Because what they do is they take poverty and turn it into desperation. And that's why I always tell people all the time, be dedicated, don't be desperate. There's a difference between the two. It's a line. When I was driving Uber and Lyft, a lady gave me that line. I've not forgotten it ever since. It's a daily practice for me. Be dedicated, not desperate. Because when you're desperate, people will take full and autonomous advantage. That's why you get a situation like Puff Daddy, all the stuff he's done in his life. But he cannot answer for none of it in court, on the streets. But God gonna give him his. He's not gonna leave this world without getting his. You don't do that kind of scandalousness and not get it. You know what I mean? So that's ownership to me, man. You must own what you create and know that it can be valuable without going through a record label, a major corporation. We have, and I call it a disease, but it's also part of the fear box. We believe that whatever we create can only be valuable if a big company comes at us and says, hey, what you created is valuable. Let us be your sponsor. How about you be your own sponsor? Yes, it might take 3 years to get famous going through them versus going 10 years on your own. But your 10-year journey is better than their 3-year journey. So stick with your 10-year journey and quit being so desperate. So that's where I'm at with it, man. I don't know what you think, brother, but that's where I'm at with it, man.
I think there's no better time than now to have that type of approach and that type of perspective because the tools are there, and when especially when you can be around like-minded individuals, such as me being able to have the benefit of being around you who's so driven and so creative and yeah, who's so driven, you can acknowledge the fact that the opportunities are there as long as you're willing to create what inspires you and what you feel drawn to. Then we can get it out there, as people. So yeah, you own it, man. Own it, create it, own it, and yeah, yeah, let it live, man, and let it fly. And that this tonight has been really good. It's not all. We don't always focus on the business aspects of creativity. We talk a lot of times about the impact it has on the community and society, but it's good that we've talked tonight about the business sides of it because it puts it into perspective too for people who think about being creative, but um, maybe don't see the financial implications of what it is to be a creative and how it can empower you going forward, and really liberate you too. Business, being a creative is very liberating. It's challenging because you have to develop things on your own, but it is very liberating and empowering as well to be able to have an idea and see it through the process become a reality is a big deal, you know.
My boy's getting tired, man. It's about, I don't know what time it's 11 p.m. or something like over there. Got to get this man to sleep. But that's our time for tonight, man. The main thing for me was talking about creation. We'll be back next week, but we're gonna be on Kimber's platform, on YouTube channel because we're alternating this thing every week, so that way we can grow both platforms. We'll be there over there next week, but we're gonna find something to talk about. I'm sure it's gonna be something to do with creation or world, how the world is functioning, whatever it might be, man. But yeah, look out for us, man. Kimber, what else do they need to know? The album is out. Class Crown is out. The book is out. Where can they go? Everything is in the description of the stream today. So y'all make sure you click all those links over there, man. Please.
Uh, you might be getting a live show soon as well. I'm looking at doing some live music performance streams. Yeah, so the summer's coming, so there's probably gonna be some interesting things happening. So
I've encouraged him is freestyles. Y'all got to check out those freestyles he does. I've told him, please go live with those. Don't even pre-record it. Go live. You know, people want to actually hear somebody saying something worth it. You know what? Yeah, because we hear a lot of freestyles, but don't talk about nothing. All they talk about is making words rhyme. But words rhyming is not freestyle to me. Freestyle to me is what stuff like you do, or what Black Thought does, or what KRS-One does. That's freestyle to me, or when Jada Kiss does. Now we're talking about intellectual because or nobody wants to hear the same old, same old. Yeah, I got 20-inch rims. I got 10 Cadillacs in my garage. Don't nobody care about that. You know what I'm saying? So it's real corny, man, and lets us know how small you are in your mind when you rap and do stuff like that. It's just music. I think the era we live in now is too it's too of a liberation point for you to talk about nonsense. Because history will say in that era, what were you talking about? That's why I have admiration for cats like Kendrick Lamar, because Kendrick Lamar is doing what he's doing in an industry that doesn't want him doing what he's doing. And the stuff that he talks about actually makes it's liberating. Logic, J. Cole, Nas. I'm talking about guys that are giving knowledge and knowledge is the most powerful tool. And they're giving it back to those who don't have as much as they have. You know what I'm saying? So that's for me, man, brother. That's it, man. For all of y'all, look, I want to make sure y'all keep posted. Cards for Assassins comic book is coming out soon. I will be letting y'all know the release date sometimes in the upcoming weeks. And we got Tyler in the chat. I got my brother in the chat showing us love. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we over there doing this thing, but the book is coming out. Get ready. Got new products they're gonna show y'all too. And look, if I forget, y'all check this out. I forgot to show y'all this. This is a case that I got sent out to a customer. In fact, let me put on some gloves. I want Kimber to see this. I forgot to show it to him. Yeah, let me. I'm trying not to put no handprints on these joints. So this is a phone case for a customer right here. Yeah, this is the phone case. You know what I'm saying? So it's an iPhone 15 Pro Max, solid design. It doesn't break. You can walk into Lowe's and it won't crack on the floor. That's what you know what I'm saying? So I've had this kind of stuff going for a while. And then you've got these clothing right here. This is what drives me every day. This is what drives me every single day. Let me put these over here. Look at this. So these you ever seen running shorts? Yes, your boy's doing running shorts now. All this is for a customer. All this is my drawings that I created and I put it on something just to be inspired to do something. So this customer is gonna get their gear. I cannot wait to get it to her. She gonna be tripping. You know what I'm saying? And then a matching tank top right here. So this is the front side of it. So everything I do is custom designed. But this is what we're talking about when we talk about creation. This is why we create so that we can have that independence. So I can have, and I wouldn't have all this if I wasn't every single day posting on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. And the thing is that when we post on these different platforms, I personally feel like this. A lot of people that are on Facebook have disposable income, which means that when we post there on your streams, your reels, they have money extra to buy stuff from you. So Raw Fabric, they're making over there. Kimber's making hoodies, kids hoodies. They're doing hats. What else are y'all doing over there? I'm trying to remember what else y'all doing over there. Mainly at the moment, but they're gonna expand to a full line of everything. So I just want to share with y'all what I'm doing, man. I'm even right now. Once I finish here, I'm about to go live again because now I got to do my own. I got to do my own thing, and that's something Kimber does too as well. So y'all make sure y'all look out for that, man. So y'all, that's our show for today, man. We thank y'all for listening, being part of our show. As always, two things I always end with: one, there's no success in skipping steps. The back of the line is just as important as the front of the line. Be determined, not desperate. Then the second one, your dreams can be delayed but must never be extinguished. So wait your time while the universe delivers you the right hand. Be determined and not desperate. As always, y'all, continue to spine and achieve. Stay safe, stay blessed, and believe in yourself. Peace. Yes, sir. Later, Kimba.